Good evening, everybody, and welcome to The Guided Life. I'm your host, Matt Trotz. The Guided Life is brought to you always by The Real Shot. Make sure to check them out at therealshot.com or in store as well. I am super stoked for tonight's show. My family and I are lucky enough to go to Florida here the end of February, first part of March, and I got two awesome guys on the line here from Poseidon Fishing Charters. I got the owner, Hunter, and lead captain Dustin. Good evening, dudes. What's going on?
What's up, man?
How's it going tonight, guys?
Going good. Captain Dustin just got off the water. He got home like 2 minutes ago.
Perfect. So I'm really excited about this one. I'm going to kind of give a history of how I ended up finding your guys' information, and there was a lot of research going to it. So we're going down the end of February to the Tampa Bay kind of area my family is. And I scrolled around. My wife's like, you got to find a charter to go fishing with the kids and everything like that. So I found the prettiest looking website. I found the most interactive website. I found the title of the best fishing charter in the Tampa Bay area. I clicked it, I liked it, I called, I talked to you, Hunter, and next thing you know, I booked a trip, man, I think it's March 1st we're coming down to visit you guys.
Stop it. You're going to make my heart explode. You're all too kind. When you tell me it's pretty, I get happy.
Yeah, man, I mean, and it is, and I want to encourage people to go check it out. I mean, there's some clickable links on the screen, and these guys are nice enough, too, if you use Guided Life, before you book a trip with them, they're going to save you a little bit of money in doing that. But let's get kind of right into the nuts and the bolts of what we want to talk about today. And Hunter, I want to direct this at you first. Like, talk about the history of Poseidon, the name, all that great stuff. How you came up with this awesome idea.
You got it. So really, it came from a hobby. Like, fishing is a lot like my golf game. I'm really bad at it, but love to go, so but I absolutely love doing it and have a passion for sales and marketing and branding and all that stuff. And so Brian and I, who's the other owner in the business, met working at Coca-Cola in sales and marketing. And when you think is one of the best brands on the planet. And so we kind of took what we learned at Coca-Cola and applied it to a fishing business. And, started with just one boat and one captain and kind of viewed it as a side hustle. And, we've been in business little over 2 years now, and we've got our own marina. We're up to 6 boats, 10 captains, merchandise brand, 2 full-time mechanics and a mobile mechanic business. We've got things pumping pretty good, and we're just a vessel. Wouldn't have been possible without the man upstairs, and he's definitely had a lot of favor on it. So it's really fun. We absolutely love doing it. We live the dream and wouldn't change it for anybody. So wouldn't switch this life for anyone else's.
See, and your excitement for it is one of the reasons that I was drawn in after we had the phone conversation the first time to line up the trip. Like, dude, you're enthused about it. You absolutely live and breathe it. And I mean, you get people stoked. And that's what happened when I got off the phone with you. I'm like, yeah, like I can't wait for number one, I can't wait for vacation. Number two, I can't wait to go ahead and, go down there and fish with you guys. But, with Poseidon Fishing Charters, whereabouts are you exactly around that Tampa area?
So we are located on the east side of the bay. And I guess the nearest big city that people will kind of be familiar with is Apollo Beach, Florida. And it's like 15 miles southeast of Tampa, but still right on Tampa Bay.
Okay. And now I want to actually talk to Dustin here as well. So like Dustin is kind of your lead captain, right, Hunter? I mean, how did you guys meet? And Dustin, then like how did you get into the role of working for Poseidon Fishing Charters then?
So I have my own business where I'm from. I'm from actually about 3 hours north. I'm from a little town called Horseshoe Beach. Nobody's ever heard of it. It's very small. There's about 200 people there. It's very, very poor town. And I just wasn't getting enough business down here. And my girlfriend, she was like, let's move to Sarasota, which Sarasota is about 35 minutes south of Ruskin. So I was like, all right, let's pack up and move. And then so I seen an ad on Indeed for Poseidon Fishing Charters. I was like, all right. So I applied for it, and it was like 3 months later. Like I'd forgotten I'd applied for the job at all. And Hunter gives me a call, and so we have a phone interview, and I go down there and I meet the guys the next day. The next day I drove down. It's 3.5 hours. I drove down. I met them in Tampa. Fell in love with them, and from then on I started fishing. I started fishing in April with them as a captain, and then in June I got promoted to lead captain, and it has been just an absolute blast ever since. And I love this company, and I can't wait to see it go to the moon, man.
It literally was like the wanted ads. It's like wanted fishing captain, and then the next thing you know, he's up there, and you're loving what you do. And so you had your own business where you were from originally. Were you a captain at that time, or were you running a charter business at that time as well?
Yeah. I had a charter business up there, but it's just really slow. We have up here in Horseshoe. We only have like 3 months are good. Like 3 months, we have scallop season. So everybody comes in for the scallop season, and then the rest of the 9 months, everybody's gone. There's no tourism there because there's nothing there. So it's like, okay, so I'm busy for 3 months, and then 9 months I have to get another job. So I wanted somewhere where I could do full-time captain all the time, and Tampa Bay was where it was at.
So before we kind of get into like the trips and everything like that, so around your guys' area, Tom Brady just announced his retirement. How's that sitting with everybody in that area? Why don't you go first, Hunter?
Well, he brought us the Super Bowl, and that's all we wanted. so he can leave. He did his thing. We love him. I hope he still lives here. And we do like these sunset cruises at nighttime. After we're done fishing, and that's what everybody wants to do is like screw the sunset, screw the Skyway Bridge and a dolphin or whatever. Take me to Tom Brady's house. and that's exactly what we do. We show him Tom Brady's house, which used to be, and his fancy big blue boat and all that stuff, and people just ooh and ah over it. And we're gonna miss him, but he brought us the Super Bowl, so we're happy.
Dustin, you kind of feel the same way, bud?
Yeah, let that man retire. He's been a GOAT for so long. Let him retire. And I'm a big Florida Gator fan. So, you got Kyle Trask right under him. So let that man get some playing time.
So I wanted to raise the question. I mean, up here, we got obviously Aaron Rodgers, and there's so much communication. I haven't followed it since the season ended, but what are the chances of Aaron Rodgers trying to do what Tom Brady did, come down there and maybe win a Super Bowl now that you're looking for a quarterback?
We don't want him. Aaron Rodgers can't win a Super Bowl. He's proven that time and time again.
Wow, it looks like our viewers just crashed, so that's really cool, Hunter. Way to set the precedence right away. So, all right, so let's get into it. So we kind of talked about the history. We kind of, everything like that. So what do you offer? And while we're doing this, I'm actually going to bring up some pictures. So talk about some of the trips that you guys actually offer, and I'll let you guys kind of banter back and forth as long as Skype doesn't cut you off.
Yeah, so I think one of the best parts about growing is being able to accommodate everything that Tampa Bay has to offer. I think it's a very unique place to fish. Because you do have the Gulf, which tends to be a lot calmer than the East Coast, and the Bay is so unique and offers so many different types of fishing just within the Bay, and then also offshore. And so by growing, we're able to have multiple boats that can accommodate whatever you want to fish for, from an 18-foot flats boat all the way to the biggest and best offshore vessel that money can buy. And so we do it all: inshore, offshore, shark trooper, sunset cruises, as you heard. And so, and even we'll take a model out too. Captain Dustin knows all about that.
Yeah, I kind of heard about this story, Dustin. I want to you cut in and out a little bit, Hunter, too. So I want to get into like some of the inshore, offshore stuff that you were talking about. But Dustin, what is this about? You taking some models out fishing?
Yeah. So all right. So it was actually a guy. His wife is the model. I guess it's an Instagram model now. I don't even know. I didn't even know they existed. But so Instagram's huge now, so they have a lot of followers. So there's actually a guy who went with me. He went fishing with me 3 or 4 times, and he gave Hunter a call. He's like, "Hey man, I fish with Captain Dustin a lot. So can you guys, help us out and take us to one of these islands?" And my wife, she wants to do some photo shoots, and yeah, Hunter hooked me up with that, and we get out there. She brings a friend, which, oh my God, that's funny.
Is your wife or girlfriend watching this right now?
No, not. But they do Instagram / OnlyFans accounts. So yeah, so you can imagine how that ended up on an island in Florida. They were all naked, and it was amazing for me because all I had to do was go to this island and park the boat and literally and watch.
I was getting text messages. I was getting text messages the whole time, and he was like, "Bro, thank you so much."
So the laughing joke that we got around here at Fix Productions is Instagram Island. Like, where do some of these models come from? There must be an island that Instagram owns, and you literally, Dustin, went to Instagram Island, my man.
I was there.
Yeah, he's been there.
I was there.
I kind of imagine it's like, I think it's like Jurassic Park. You just, the plane flies in, you're like going through all the clouds, and the next thing you know, there's an island of all these gals running around in bikinis and whatever else.
Beautiful blondes.
So as I went through the website, I guess I didn't see that part of it was offered. So maybe that's a different kind of rate for that kind of trip, huh?
Listen, Hunter, amazing idea.
Yeah, Dustin will do it for free. Me, on the other hand, $400. We'll take you to do whatever you want to do.
We'll go see Tom Brady's house. We'll go see Instagram Island.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So I want to get into some of these pictures that we're talking about, and I think we're just going to start, Hunter or Dustin, whoever wants to kind of take over, is like the inshore. That's what my wife and my family and I booked, is the inshore. And when I thought of that trip and when I talked to you, Hunter, I'm thinking like redfish and snook. Like redfish has been on a bucket list of mine for my whole entire life. So like, is that what I can expect by booking that inshore trip with you guys?
Take it away, Captain Dustin.
Absolutely. Redfish and snook are our 2 most popular inshore species. So absolutely. And Hunter, if I'm not mistaken, I am taking them out.
Yep,
myself.
taking them out now. Yep.
Yeah, you're coming out with the the king here. So yeah, we're gonna definitely gonna fish and snook for that inshore.
Okay, so I'm going to bring up a photo here, and my lack of knowledge on that kind of species, I think this is a redfish right here, is it not, guys?
That is a redfish.
Now, is that to me, that looks like a nice fish. I mean, up here in the northern part, we're used to catching walleyes and, bass and everything like that. That looks like it's about a 25-inch fish. Am I close with that?
You're right on the money. You're close to it. Because, yeah, he looks about 25, 26 inches.
So on a typical trip, like I know it's fishing and I know like the way it works, it could be a cold front, everything like that. But inshore, is this an above average style redfish?
No, not at all. That is right on the money. That's perfectly plot. Now, an oversized redfish would be more than 27 inches, and that one doesn't look like it's more than 27. That one looks like it's about 25, 26. Now that one's pushing the upper slot limit there.
Okay.
That one's above slot.
Yeah, that's a nice fish, and that fish looks like it was caught after dark, or is that just the blacked out background so nobody could tell where you caught it?
No, that was on a night trip.
Yeah, the freaks come out at night.
And that's something you guys offer as well, right? The night fishing, is that inshore and offshore as well?
We offer it for night, whatever you want. If you want to do night fishing offshore, absolutely, we offer that.
Okay. Okay. So we kind of looked at a couple redfish. Now I want to go through now, Hunter, when you and I were talking earlier, you had mentioned, I think like, sheephead or something like that. Up here in the northern part, when we do like our head-to-head show and people catch sheephead, we call them farm animals and goats. Like they're kind of a trash fish up here, even though they're really good eating. But down there, that's like a delicacy and that's a targeted species, right?
100%. So believe it or not, I get that question all the time. People up north think keep those. They're bottom dwellers. We don't. That's a throwback fish, And not at all down here. Our sheep's head feed on shrimp and crustaceans and stuff, and they're extremely good eating. They look funky. They have human teeth, but yeah, they're great.
What do you mean, like human teeth? Like they have chompers in the front?
Oh yeah. Give it a Google once you get off this live feed, of course. But yeah, Google Tampa Bay sheep's head. We actually posted one on our Instagram yesterday. So if you wanted to go to Poseidon Fishing Charters on Instagram, you can check them out. They're a black and white striped fish, and they have some funky looking teeth. I mean, truly human-like, and they're used for exactly that, breaking clams and munching on shrimp. So.
And Dustin, that's like a fish that's really good eating out of the ocean as well, right?
Absolutely. Very good eating. All they eat is oysters, shrimp, and, other kinds of crabs. So, yeah, their appetite shows because they're very good eating.
Okay, so that's awesome. And I can't wait. So, like, we talked about redfish. Now, I'm trying to find through my pictures here the snook. I think you guys sent me a couple of those pictures here. Let me bring this. So, this is another redfish. I'll bring this one up so people can see it. This is, again, looks like it's kind of in that realm of that's a really just a nice quality fish, right, guys?
Absolutely.
So, I'm sorry. What was that? I'm sorry.
It's a perfect fish right in the slot.
And how table fare, are those pretty good to eat as well?
Absolutely. As long as they're in the slot. Now, once you get, so our slot is 18 inches to 27 inches. Now, once you get above slot, their meat starts getting poor as far as because the really big reds, like reds they get huge. They get up to 60 inches, I believe. And once they get above like the 30-inch mark, then their meat turns. It gets a little wormy. A lot of fish in the ocean get worms in them after they get to a certain size. So like a lot of your sea trout, redfish, drum, any kind of drum is going to get worms in them once they get above like 30 inches because I don't know what causes it, but yeah, they just get wormy. So a perfect redfish is, to me, is about 22 inches. 22 to 24 inches is a perfect eater for a redfish.
Okay, perfect. And I don't know if you got that, Hunter, but at a certain size, redfish will get wormy. Did you pick up on that portion of it?
Yeah, I did.
So anything at a certain size, man, you're going to want to let it go. It's probably a trophy status because they might get a little wormy. So, all right, man, inshore, we're talking snook, we're talking redfish. What other species, the sheepheads, what other things can you catch when you're doing the inshore trips like that?
The main two we target are snook is the number one. For Tampa Bay, snook is the most prominent inshore species there is. After snook, you have redfish, sheep's head, flounder. We have speckled sea trout. Every now and then you get some mackerel, jack crevalle, tarpon. Tarpon's a really big one as well.
All right.
But now tarpon, our season for tarpon, the main season. Now we do catch them, all year round, but the main season for them is April until right around October. And then it just gets the water temp gets a little cooler, and so they go a little further south. But now we do catch them. I had a buddy of mine just 2 days ago catch about an 80-pound tarpon and sent me a picture of it.
Okay, now here you're okay. You fled right into my questions perfectly in the flow of the show. So look, we're looking at a tarpon right here. Now, how big is this fish that we're looking at?
That one right there is, I would say about 65 to 85 pounds in that ballpark.
And, and so when somebody books a trip to go specifically tarpon fishing, like you're going anyway. Like, is it inshore and could be fly fishing, could be spinning tackle. I mean, what kind of stuff can you use to go tackle these? Because I'm going to clip through a couple more pictures. I mean, we got some smaller ones here that you could probably catch on a fly rod. But talk about like the tackle, the rods, the reels, everything you're going to use to catch some of these tarpon.
Honestly, on those right there, I was actually right next to that boat when that picture was taken there. So those right there, we use the 4000 series for the Florida fishing products. The Osprey reels is what we use, and it's a 4000. Those fish right there, probably 50 to 60, maybe 70 pounds. They are super fun on a 4000 rod and reel. Excuse me, a 4000 reel. Now, when we get to a little bigger tarpon, you can go up to 8,000. Now that one there, yeah, that's a little big boy there. So it's probably 120, 150 pound tarpon there. Um, he would spool you for sure with a 4000 reel. So you need to go a little bit bigger with our 8,000, and be no problem to catch that. Now fly rods, we don't do a whole lot of fly fishing, so I'm pretty lost with fly fishing. We don't do a lot, and that would be somebody else's expertise there because I do not know about fly rods.
So Hunter, when we're tackling, going after tarpon like that, what are the baits that you guys are recommending that you're throwing? Are you live bait? Are you artificials? What kind of tackle are we using for big tarpon like we just looked at?
Yes, so we are pretty much all live bait. I mean, sometimes when we go offshore, we will do a little bit of frozen to catch like snapper and things like that. But for the most part, we heavily rely on live bait, and it is a lot of work. One thing that makes Poseidon a little bit different is we care deeply about having live bait on the boat before we go on a trip, and we wake up at the crack of dawn. I know Dustin's alarm will go off at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning in order to go catch live bait for the charters tomorrow. And so, our day starts at 4 a.m. in order to catch bait so that we can depart at 8 a.m. So there's 4 in order to secure that bait for the trip. Typically, we use thread fins, greenbacks, pinfish. That might be speaking Spanish to some people, but that's the kind of bait that we target in our area.
So how does that, and we'll let Hunter continue to answer this question then, how does that differ from other guides or other charter businesses down there? Because like I did watch a video on your website again, and I encourage people to go over there and check it out. And if you are going to book a trip with them, use Guided Life and save yourself a little bit of money on that trip. Well, actually quite a bit of money. It's going to be $50 off that trip. But you guys did a nice video talking about how we don't go catch bait the morning of the trip with you in the boat. We got, like you said, Hunter, we're ready to roll. As soon as you climb in the boat with your trip, you get that 4 hours or 5 hours or 6 hours or whatever amount of time you booked a trip for.
Yeah, absolutely. So we wanted to be different. And a part of that was eliminating a lot of the things that are pain points in the normal everyday charter life, which is dealing with the boat ramp and terrible parking and being delayed because you may or may not get the boat in the water and not having a restroom for before and after the trip and all that. So, yeah, we wanted to take those sticking points out of it. And we own our own marina. That's where we keep all of the boats. It is air conditioned, which is important in Florida. And it does have a restroom for before and after the trip. And a great place to hang out and watch TV and buy merchandise while you're waiting on the captain to fillet the fish or setting up the boat in the morning. And like you said, truly the only thing you need to show up with for a Poseidon charter is sunscreen. We will have all the bait, the water, the tackle, the gear, you name it, loaded up and ready to go. Just show up and we'll take care of it.
And that's the other thing too. Again, while you're on your website, check it out. The one thing that you talked about, everything is provided. And the thing that I thought was interesting too, guys, is I don't need a fishing license to go with you. You guys, as the charter, Dustin, as you guys set that up for me. So my wife, my kids, and I, we come down. We literally are in the boat and we're fishing right away without having to find a tackle shop, find anywhere to buy a license. So is that just something special with Florida, or is that, Dustin, something that Poseidon, is an extra thing that you guys do for your customers?
Well, it's Florida in general. You can elect to buy a Florida charter captain license, and that just allows you can buy an add-on to your license, and that allows the customers not to have to buy a fishing license. And it costs the captains a little bit more money, but it saves the customers. Like if you're doing 10 charters a week, that's $17 per person that you're saving the customers, and it just saves the customers so much money when you don't have to get a fishing license.
Oh, and the headaches. I mean, like you're saying, a lot of, like, I'm coming from Wisconsin, obviously. We're down there for vacation, so that's so cool that you guys take care of that. Plus, Florida is nice enough to add that on. So I think that's a huge time saver. That's a huge money saver, and I think that's another great thing that you guys offer, as well as the state of Florida. So back to the stuff that you guys offer. Now, we talked a little bit about inshore. We talked quite a bit about inshore, and that's what I'm excited for. But let's get into the offshore fishing. What are the species that you could be targeting when we go offshore fishing?
So for offshore fishing, we're going to be targeting grouper, snapper. We have a king mackerel run. It's about 3 or 4 months out of the year, and we target those really hard when they run through. It's mainly November, and then another one in April. We target them hard when they come through because it's a limited time for those, so we target them hard. We do Goliath grouper trips, which I'm sure we've got some pictures of some Goliath grouper because they're huge.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to a Goliath trip. Continue talking. I'm gonna try to find one of those pictures here, and I'll bring it up as you talk about those Goliath trips, and I'll kind of scan through some of those photos.
There you go, right there. The state of Florida doesn't allow us to actually bring these guys out of the water because they are very protected. They're an endangered species list. So you can't bring them out of the water. So if you do catch one and you want a good picture of it, like in the water, like this gentleman did, and you get a super awesome picture. And they are super fun to catch, man. They're awesome. You can't take them home. Just a trophy fish. So, but they are a blast. They are. It's like hooking your rod and reel up to a car, and then driving straight to the bottom, and you're trying to fight it back up. And that's how I can compare it. That's all I can compare it to, because they are incredibly strong.
So, Hunter, as we look at this gentleman in the water here, how big is this fish that he's swimming next to? I mean, it's literally, like I said in my post, swimming with the fishes for sure.
Yeah, 100%. So it really is the most terrifying 25 minutes of your life. I mean, you will feel like you got hit by a bus. But they tire out quickly, thank the Lord, because we would never be able to survive it if they didn't. So it's a good 25-minute fight that will have you screaming for mama. But that fish there, that's probably in the 100-pound mark, but they get a whole lot bigger than that. I mean, they get absolutely massive. They're at the Tampa Aquarium. They actually have one and next to a bison, because they can get as big as a bison and up to 800 pounds. I mean, they're the size of your door at home. Yeah, they're really, really big fish, and they love to hang around structure and wrecks. And the few times that I have been, it has been almost instant. You'll drop a bait down, and it's game time. It's incredible because they're very, very opportunistic feeders. They're hanging around the reef for something to happen, and lo and behold, somebody dropped a carcass out of the sky, and they won it. So.
That's insane. And those, I've only seen videos. I can only imagine what it's like, the real one. Like, what is the depth? Did you say, like, how deep these fish are typically holding when you do catch them?
So believe it or not, Tampa is actually not very deep at all. The Gulf side is not very deep. Like if you're on the east coast of Florida, you drive, 5 miles and you're in 300-400 feet of water. On the Tampa Bay, besides the channel, is about 10 to 15.
Yeah, that's insane. I think somebody's popping on your internet at your house because you're kind of choppy. You're cutting in and out a little bit. But from what I gathered from that conversation, and maybe it's just on my end, it's a shallower area, but you're not catching these fish in the 300 to 500 water like you mentioned. If you went a little further out. But they are absolutely enormous fish, and I think that's another awesome thing that you guys offer. We talked about the tarpon. Now let's get into the one that we're kind of bouncing around. We're inshore, offshore. Let's talk about the shark fishing that Poseidon offers, and I got some cool pictures. I'm going to bring those up. While whoever, maybe Dustin. I mean, why don't you kind of tackle the shark fishing that Poseidon offers?
Yeah, man, we do. We sell an incredible amount of shark fishing trips because people absolutely love it. Just from the pictures, people love it. It's an absolute blast because look at there. That's about an 8-foot lemon shark there. It is just a great time, man. When you hook onto a shark, it's running full speed, and it's honestly like you hooked a glass grouper, except he's not trying to go down; he's trying to go away from you. It's just such a blast to hook these things, and then the pictures are incredible. Everyone loves it. Everybody wants to go catch a shark. But yeah, it's just such a fun time.
Well, and I was talking to Hunter earlier, and maybe you can elaborate a little bit on this one, Dustin. Is there like that fish is, or you said that shark is about 8 foot, but that's only, how big was that boat that fish was caught in?
That boat there that boat is named Themis, and that is 18.5-foot express boat.
That's insane. And how did you say how much that shark actually or potentially could have weighed?
250 probably, maybe 300.
Rod in hand, I think that's awesome. Now there's a couple other pictures here that Hunter was kind enough to send me. Here's one that I thought, what are we looking at here?
That looks like a mako shark.
Bull shark.
No, that.
Let's get arguing. Hunter says bull shark. You think mako? Who's
I
right?
don't know. Well, we don't catch very many makos over here, so that's why like the color of it has me thrown off because makos are very like they're very two-toned like this one is here. It could be a bull. I don't know though.
Hunter, you want to take over on that one if it really is a bull shark and talk about what that fish or that shark really is?
Yeah, it's big, and that's really all that matters. The Captain Brophy, who's in that picture, and it was in the picture before, tends to be the Shark King. So at Poseidon Charters, we do a Shark Week every year that aligns with the Shark Week on Discovery Channel. Because just like the Olympics that are playing now, everybody wants to go skiing right now, So when Shark Week is on the Discovery Channel, everybody wants to get their man card and go catch a shark. And Captain Brophy is the king. He wins it every daggum year. He's really freaking good at it. I think his personal record is a 13.5-foot tiger shark that he did not bring in the boat because
Jeez, that's insane. So what is this one here? Now that's a little different looking shark. What kind is that one?
So I believe that is a sand shark, but man, it's hard to tell from the pictures. They get like when you get into the lemon and the sand and all that, they all look so similar until you really get on top of them and can check the nose and the eyes and the fins and everything else. But obviously, you can tell a bull shark from a nurse shark and that kind of thing. But a lot of them are really close.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right on the money. That's a sandbar shark there.
I might have cut you off. What was that, Dustin?
That's a sandbar shark. Yeah, Hunter was correct.
Okay. And now what do we got here? What kind of sharks are these then?
Let's see. Two bulls is what it looks like. One small bull, one bigger bull. Let me see.
Either way, like Hunter said earlier, it doesn't matter. It's
Yeah,
a shark.
Yeah, it's hard if you're not seeing all the actual fins and the point of the nose. There's so many different species of sharks, so it's so hard to tell unless you're right there at it.
Well, those doesn't matter what shark we just saw in there. I think the opportunity to go catch one, and they all, to me, look like Jaws, that's for sure.
Oh,
They are toothy critters.
And again, that's a live bait deal, right? Are you're chumming for those, or what kind of if I want to go shark fishing, what's that day look like?
Well, the bait started off alive at one point. But yeah, we basically, like when we fillet fish for the customer, we keep the carcass, and that's what we use for shark bait. So like if you catch a big redfish or whatever, or sheep's head, we're gonna freeze and then let it get real nasty during the day and go catch a shark with it at night.
So when we were talking earlier, Hunter, I mean, you had said, and this is what I really want to kind of get into. We've covered, the trips. There's a lot of different trips. We'll go through some more pictures here, but I want the stories that comes out of being a charter captain and comes out of. But with the shark fishing, you had mentioned a pretty unique story. If you want to talk about that one a little bit.
Yeah. So on one of those first pictures that Captain Brophy was on, the 18-foot. Skiff boat, he was actually fishing in the flats, which is where Matt will be fishing when he comes down in March, fishing for redfish and snook and those types of things. And for some reason, they decided to throw out a shark rod just to see. And so he hooked up on that big lemon shark, and it was a 2.5 hour in a skiff. You're getting pulled all over the bay by that thing. And getting it in the boat is an absolute nightmare. So that was a phenomenal story. Incredible that a 2.5 hour fight, and to be able to get it on that boat was truly unbelievable. But we also had a bachelor party shark trip that was very wild. So to preference the story, it was a 3-boat trip. So they chartered 3 boats, 5 people on each boat, in order to go shark fishing as a group. And so we had a plan. We wanted to set up, on a row, kind of in our shark spot, and fish next to each other or close enough so that you could see what the other boats were doing, And this group showed up in a party bus, truly a bus. And so they were already as the kids would say, by the time that they were there. And shark fishing was good, but it got ugly real quick. And one boat had a guy completely knocked out in the middle of the boat, puking. And another guy on the other boat decided to jump in the water and swim around the boat and yelling at the captain, "You can't get me, you can't get me." And we're shark fishing, okay? So we have chum in the water, baits everywhere. There is 100% guarantee that there are sharks in the water, 100%. And they are swimming in the water. And then the other boat, a customer was trying to take over. Like, "Captain, move, I want to drive the boat." "I know, I'm here, I've been here, I want to drive the boat, I want to drive the boat." So ultimately, it was like, all right, this is getting out of hand, this is getting crazy, it's time to call it. And they had a great time. We brought it in, and the first boat that got there, we didn't even make it to the dock. They were so intoxicated that they jumped off of the boat and started swimming in their skivvies at the dock. And of course, it's dark at this point, so the other captains are rolling in, and we can't see that people are swimming. And everybody else sees what's happening, strips down into their skivvies, jumps in the water. And so everybody went swimming. They got off, dried off, got back on their party bus, and we were done.
I was gonna say, I could only imagine what the life was like, Dustin, at that point as a captain. It's like herding cats. Come on, get in a boat. All right, that's enough. Start behaving and everything like this. I mean, you're a mom and a dad at that point. You're like, I got to try to put you on fish, and I also got I got to make sure you're not getting into trouble out there? I mean, is that something, that's obviously like a once in a lifetime story. You can't expect something like that to happen all the time.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, it was absolutely hilarious. And Go ahead, Dustin.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often, but we do a lot of bachelor parties, so it's always fun. It always keeps it light and fun, but as far as excessive as that got, no, that doesn't happen very often. But it is one of those good days you talk about forever.
Yeah, and I can tell you right now why there is an aluminum shortage, because it was all on that party bus. The amount of beer cans we took off of the boat was unbelievable.
So wow, I mean, we're talking. We've been to Instagram Island. We've had guys swimming with sharks. I mean, again, it's just another reason to check them out. Look them up on their website. Follow them on social medias, and kind of what we're talking about social medias: Facebook, Instagram. What pages are you guys on, and how do people find it?
Yeah, D all the above. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I would say that Facebook and Instagram are probably the go-to. That's where we post 2 to 3 times a day on what we're doing out there on the water. We do have some YouTube videos probably once a month with kind of what you'll be doing, Matt. Kind of shows you a day on the water, or what shark fishing is like, or what to expect, or a hype video to just get you excited about fishing in Tampa Bay because it is so unique. We also have our own podcast where we do these types of things. And we tell stories and talk about the good and the bad and the ugly. And I think it is called the Poseidon Podcast. You can find it on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. And I think next week's episode is a doozy of a story, because to pull an illegal substance out of their sock, and how we handled that one.
So you got to look up that. You said it's Poseidon Podcast. That's how people can find it on all the popular podcast platforms.
Yep, absolutely. Just search the Poseidon Podcast and it'll pull up. It's our logo, and yeah, there's I think 4 or 5 episodes now, and we put one out every single Friday.
Sweet. So I want to go back to some of the pictures here, some of the ones that I didn't get on. So we talked about inshore, offshore. We talked about tarpon trips, Goliath grouper trips, shark trips, night trips, driving by, looking at Tom Brady's house or whatever you wanted to do. You guys offer it all, but there's a couple of photographs here of some species, and maybe Dustin, you can kind of handle these. So I'm going to bring up the pictures here. So when I bring this up, what is this fish that we're looking at here?
That is a bonita.
We'll say it again.
That's a bonita, or a little toonie. What a lot of people call them. The nickname is little toonie, but the real name for that is a bonita.
Now, is that inshore or is that an offshore fish that you're targeting?
That's gonna be an offshore species. They're a blast to catch, but they're not very good eating. So I mean, we use them for bait for like sharks and stuff. They're super fun to catch, but as far as edible, no, it's not very edible.
Not a main one. So now I've caught this fish before. I think it was in North Carolina. That's a kingfish or a king mackerel or something.
Yep, king mackerel, kingfish. Yep, absolutely.
Those are great eating.
Those are a blast to catch, and they are very good eating if you cook it right. Smoked king mackerel is one of the best things on the planet.
Now, again, this is another offshore species?
Like I said, they come in the bay certain times of the year, but the majority of the time you're going to have to go out of the bay to catch these guys. Yeah, it's going to be an offshore.
Now, it was for a bachelor party. I think it was in North Carolina where I caught this, and we were doing like a little different technique. It was almost like we were trolling, and when they would hit, you would hand line them in. It was like a spring system or whatever like that, and you would just hand line to get these in. Is that how you guys target them, or how do you go after them?
No, we mainly, honestly, they come in so thick sometimes that you can sit there and just chum these guys up to the boat. But the majority of the time we catch them while trolling, like standard trolling.
Okay. And this is another king, right? Or is that a little different?
Nope, that's a kingfish.
Okay. And then I think I got one more. That looks like a big one.
Yeah, that's a little different. That's a barracuda there.
Oh, that is a barracuda.
Yep. Just because the eyes, you see the eye, you can tell the eye difference. The barracuda there.
All right. So I'm gonna go back here.
Very, very similar fish. Now, see, there's a little bit of difference. That's a kingfish there. Now, there's a slightly different eye, and the mouth is a little different.
Wow, literally good eye on picking that up. They look the same to me, but that's why you're the man.
Especially if you're turned, like the angle he's at is it's hard to tell the difference. But if he was pointed down a little bit more, you can tell the color difference on the top.
All right. So then, while we have the photos up, let's get into some of the boat talk. Now, I'm going to bring this one up. I actually was kidding around the other day and said that this is my new whip. Hunter, do you want to talk about what we're looking at here?
The Gulf, we love to run a crossover boat because, like I was talking about earlier, Tampa Bay tends to be pretty shallow, only 10 feet deep for the most part, besides the channel. And then obviously you need to get into those flats and on the mangroves, but also have a big enough boat to be able to handle the offshore when you need to. So that's a Crevel, a 26 Crevel. That tends to be our offshore and inshore boat. We absolutely love it. It is perfect for both scenarios, and real good boat for running shallow when you need to, and then get big and heavy when you have to get offshore.
Yeah, I mean, and how many people did you say how many people could fit in that one?
Yeah, so we don't like to take any more than 6 fishing. We find that that's like the absolute perfect setup for the boat. Anything less than that, 6 and less is perfect. It gives everybody plenty of room to cast and do what they need to do and walk around, and it just not be cramped.
Yeah.
We like 6.
And that thing looks awesome. I'm excited, and I'm thinking, Dustin, that's kind of what we're going to be in for what we're doing, right?
Yeah. For most likely for if you're doing inshore, we could be on that, or depends on how many people. If you do 4 and under, we'll probably do a flats boat, like a designated flats boat. But I imagine we're going to be doing the Creval.
Yeah, there'll be 5 of us, so I'm looking forward to riding in that bad boy. So, Hunter, I mean, let's talk about you. We're hearing a lot from Dustin, and I mean, this guy seems like he's a stand-up individual. Dustin, I can't wait to meet you, when we come down. But talk about some of the other great captains that you have at Poseidon as well.
You fooled him, Dustin. Nicely done, baby. That's my man.
Baby!
Oh, man, we are too good at this. That's good. No, Captain Dustin, phenomenal captain. Obviously, when he started in April and then was promoted in June, it took no time to realize that he was phenomenal and a great leader, and he pours that into his team. So he does a great job. But everybody on our team is extremely well-rounded. We do have some people that tend to be, specific offshore fishermen or specific shark fishing, like Captain Brophy that we showed a lot of pictures of. He's absolutely phenomenal when it comes to shark fishing and offshore. That kind of tends to be his specialty. And then when you think of other people like Captain Matt, inshore is definitely his gift. He's phenomenal at it. That's what he's the best at, and that's what he does the most charters of. Everybody on our team, you're going to be in really good hands, and we'll put you on the fish. I guarantee it. And
that's awesome. And I mean, again, I just love the energy that you're bringing, Hunter, to this, and Dustin, the same thing. I mean, I'm going to have to tune into the Poseidon podcast as well, because I just imagine some of the stories that are coming out of there. But I mean, speaking of stories, I want to kind of get into some more of the fun stories. It's a whole nother world for a lot of the viewers, for myself included, and, my family. We're going to have to try to keep it clean when we're down there, but I got, 2 boys and a younger gal. She's 13. My daughter that will be coming along. My wife is a Spitfire. So, Dustin, I want to get into, Dustin, some more of the craziness that happens. Big fish, other kinds of crazy things, storms that blow in. What is some other crazy things that's happened to you, bud?
Yeah, storms are definitely crazy because, well, when you're down, you won't be seeing too many crazy thunderstorms, but everybody knows in Florida, if you're from Florida, everyone knows that in the summertime, you're going to get a thunderstorm every single day. You can pretty much time it 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. It's going to rain. It's going to have a huge thunderstorm. I have been in some crazy, crazy thunderstorms where it's flat calm 1 second, and then 20 minutes goes by, and boom, you're in 6-7 foot waves. You know, it's wild. It's very scary. Actually, when I first became lead captain, we just had a new guy start, and he was deckhanding for me one day. We went offshore, and it was blowing like 5 knots. It was a beautiful day, and we get out there. We're offshore fishing, and we get out to a spot, and you can see the storm starting to develop, you know, inshore of us. And my deckhand, you know, he doesn't have as much experience as I do, so he's like, hey man, you know, should we start going in now? Should we start going in? I'm like, no. I'm like, let's just watch this storm and see where it goes. And so about an hour goes by, and I'm starting to see this storm. Okay, well, it's coming right for us, so there's no way we're gonna get around it. And I'm like, all right, guys, you know, let's pack it in. Let's go back to the house, and because the storm is gonna come for us. And so we reeled everything in, pulled up the anchor, started heading in. And as soon as we got into the storm, the temperature dropped like 20 degrees. And from that moment, I was like, oh man, I may have fudged up a little here because this is going to be a bad one. My deckhand has literally got his head in his shirt like this. He's so scared. And I'm like, all right, we're going to get through this, bro. We're good. And so we're in this storm, just heavy rain, heavy wind, this crazy storm for about an hour. And finally it starts letting up, and my deckhand, like, I thought he was going to cry. And it was one of the funniest days of my life, just watching him, because I know what he feels like because I've been there. I've been in his shoes before. I've been with less experience, and I know how scared he was. I've been there before, and it was just so cool to be, you know, not the scared one this time. Like,
Hunter, he had to be the voice of reason on this trip as well. I mean, you've really put Dustin through some of the paces. I mean, we talked about Instagram Island, you know, and now he's putting deckhands through some crazy weather. Like, so hopefully we don't see any bad weather. Hopefully we can catch plenty of fish. But Hunter, man, I think you got some other great stories, and I want you to, you know, think of something here in the interim. I got to give a little sneak peek here. We have something cool coming up at the end of tonight's show that I hope everybody sticks around and they'll watch it. It's a sneak peek of what's up to come for the Guided Life. But what's another awesome story, buddy Hunter, that you can think of as well?
Well, you know, so Captain Dustin, you know, saying send him out weather and all that stuff, you know. So I got to tell you a story about how they give it back to me too. You know, so Captain, they don't go out in bad weather very often, and 99% of the time we can avoid it. But sometimes Florida changes and it happens. But one time they got back at me, and it was a specific captain. His name's Captain Drew. And there was like, he was coming in from offshore, and there was coconuts floating in the water. And so, you know, whatever, there's things floating in the water sometimes. You just drive around it or whatever. And he thought that his clients were cool. And Tampa is known for having a lot of manatees. Like, you will probably see manatees when you're down in March. And they're everywhere. I mean, we see them every single day. And so Captain Drew was serving to try to hit the coconuts, and as a joke to like make the clients laugh. And the clients were like, "What are you doing? You know, what are those?" His response was, "Manatee eggs. We don't want any more of them." So these clients, and he said it like so serious that they believed it. And so they just like let it happen. But when they got back to the dock, they gave Hunter a call, and they're like, "Hey, just wanted to let you know, your captain is purposely hitting manatee eggs because we don't want any more of them, and I know that they're endangered, and like you might want to take care of that." And I'm like, "Ma'am, I am so sorry, but There is no such thing. They are a mammal. They have live babies. They don't make eggs.
Dustin, have you pulled any tricks on the Boss Hunter at any times that are like that good?
No, that is I'm striving to get that good because that is amazing.
Hunter, you pulled any tricks on Dustin?
No, I try to be pretty good. I don't do anything too crazy, but yeah, I tend to be pretty good. Some things we might not be able to say on live TV, but
you know what? It's 2022, man. We can almost start full sending this stuff, and maybe I could be on your guys' podcast one time, and then we can really let loose.
absolutely.
But I want to start kind of wrapping this up, but I want to first of all say thank you guys so much for making the time. I'm truly looking forward to coming down and hanging out with you both, and you know I know my kids and my wife are excited to do this kind of stuff, and I really feel confident that I made the right choice. Anybody else that's watching, again, tell them where they need to go, and you know any kind of recap on what else they can expect when they book a trip with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, come fishing with us. Check out our reviews on Google. Give us a Google at www.poseidonfishingcharters.com. You can find all your information there. You'll see our Instagram feed. That's a great live shot of what we do every single day. And there definitely is a Poseidon difference. We do things a little bit differently, and our reviews show that. And we're excited to show Matt that in March. We'd love to take any of you guys out. Give us a call, shoot us an email, whatever's easiest, text message, doesn't matter to me at all. And we'll figure it out and get you guys on the water and show you the Poseidon and Tampa Bay difference.
Yeah, and that's what I'm excited about. And I want to give another huge shout out to you guys as well, because you know, I asked you if you wanted to timestamp this, and you said, hey man, I don't care how long they use it, but again, if they use Guided Life just before checkout, right, they're going to receive $50 off any charter trip with Poseidon Fishing. And you know, if you're watching this live, or if you're watching this 10 years down the road, I mean, hopefully I'm still doing my thing, but I appreciate that, guys. I mean, that's so awesome, again, for you to reach out to new fans, old fans, all that kind of stuff, and just kind of keep the awesomeness going of what you offer, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Whenever. Call us anytime. Tell us you saw us on the Guided Life, and we will hook you up. No problem. That's
awesome. So, again, social media, look them up over there. Look them up at the website. These guys are top-notch, and there's a reason that when you Google search charters down in the Tampa Bay area, Poseidon's going to come up first, because they are the best fishing charter in the Tampa Bay area, and I can't wait for my family to experience that all as well. So again, guys, thank you so much. I'm going to let you go because I know Dustin's got to get up at 4 o'clock to start catching bait. Hunter, when you and I were talking, your phone never stopped ringing, so you're a busy man. Plus, you want to get home to your family and friends and everything like that. So one last time, guys, thank you so much, and I encourage everybody to go to the website, check it on out, check out the reviews, and use that Guided Life code. But have a good night, guys, and we'll talk to you real soon.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. It was fun.
That was awesome.
All right. Again, thanks, everybody, for watching the Guided Life tonight. I hope you kind of saw an insight of what these guys, Hunter and Dustin, and all the rest of the great guys at Poseidon can offer you. So I'm really stoked to go down there. Plus, I've talked to a couple other people that are heading down in that Florida area here in the next couple of weeks. So I would encourage you to check them out. Whether you book a trip or not, definitely look into them. Follow them along on social media. You heard some of the great stories from both Hunter and Dustin. So I hope you have a great experience, and I hope we have a great experience. But I really feel confident that I made the right choice reaching out to these guys and booking a trip for them. So I'm going to wrap this one up for tonight, but don't run away, because we have a little sneak peek, like I promised, coming to you, what you can look for in the next couple of weeks for Guided Life episodes. So again, everybody, thank you so much. Thank you again to The Real Shot for being an amazing sponsor. Do me a favor, follow The Real Shot on Facebook, Instagram, check them out on YouTube. Check them out in the store, or check them out on the website, which is www.therealshot.com. By supporting The Real Shot, you are in turn supporting the guided life, and you're allowing me to do what this is my dream and my goal and everything like that. So again, thank you again to The Real Shot. But have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you on the next one.
There's that cat track.